Hi everyone, in this video we are going to find the domain of the square root function where the function inside the square root is a rational function. So for instance we have f of x equal the square root of 10 minus 12x over a plus 11x. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is to set the function inside f of x. I let it be g of x. So let g of x equal the rational function inside the square root. Okay, so to find the domain of the function f of x, domain, we need to set g of x greater or equal to 0. Alright, then we let 10 minus 12 of x over 8 plus 11 of x greater or equal to 0. Okay, now we need to make a the side table in order to solve this inequality. So let's review the step on how to solve this inequality. First, we need to find the 0 for the top and the bottom separately. Okay, however, we know that the bottom, which is the denominator of this rational function, is a plus 11x and is not allowed to be 0 because we can't divide by 0. Therefore, we say x plus 11x cannot be 0. Now we can solve these two equation or non-equation separately. The first one, we can add 12x to both sides. Excuse me. Then we solve for x. It gives us x equal 10 over 12, which can reduce as x equal 5, 6. And on the right side, we subtract 11x both sides. And that will give us x cannot be 8 over negative 8 over 11. Okay. Now, after we know these two numbers, we are going to use the side table. So let's try to do it over here. Okay. We have 10 minus 12x here, the top, the bottom we have 8 plus 11x. And here are the zeros or the root. We put the small number in first and then the bigger one. Okay. So from the left side, we see that negative 8 over 11 is the 0 for the bottom. However, it's not allowed to be that number. So we just have a double bar. Just remind us we cannot divide by 0. And the top one, we don't need to do anything as negative 8 over 11. However, positive 5, 6 is a 0 for the top one. So we put 0 there to remind us it's a 0 of the top one. Okay, now let's fill in the side. Just look at the first row, 10 minus 12x. On the right side of the 0, it should be negative, because any number that's greater than 5, 6, it should make the entire function 10 minus 12 of x be negative. And everywhere on the left side should be positive. Okay? For the bottom, if you plug any number that's greater than 8, negative 8 over 11, let's say 0, it will produce positive. It will make the function a plus 11x positive. And every number that less than negative 8 over 11 will make that expression less than 0, which is negative. Okay? All right. Now, the bottom one is the function where we put the function together. We want g of x less than or equal to 0, right? So we have here, we look at the top, and we multiply with the bottom. Positive multiply the negative will give us negative. Okay? And negative 8, 11 tell us we cannot be 0. So we want to exclude this number. Now on the right side of this number, we have positive on top and positive toward the bottom. So positive divide positive will give us positive. And at 5, 6, because the bottom is positive and the top is 0, so we'll make the whole rational function 0. Okay? And on the right side of 5, 6, we have negative divide positive will give us negative. Okay? So the last row here would tell us where this function is positive and where it will be negative. Okay? However, go back to what we say here. To find the domain of f of x, the domain of the function f of x, we need g of x. This is g of x right here, greater or equal to 0. So look at the third line here. We see that g of x greater or equal to 0 only in this segment. And then now we can fill in the blank. We have negative 8, 11, and all the way up to 5, 6. Let me go back and fix this. That should be undefined when x equal negative 8 over 11. This rational function is undefined. Therefore, we don't want the value negative 8 over 11. Okay, then the bottom line here tells us what is the domain of this function. Therefore, the domain of this function is the interval negative 8 over 11 and 5, 6 and a square brackets because we do want g of x equal to 0.